Clams Casino. The name itself sounds mysterious like his music. Known for crafting atmospheric, dreamy beats, this New Jersey-based producer has left an undeniable mark in hip-hop. But what makes his sound so captivating? Today we're diving into the techniques of Clams Casino's music production and the artistry behind his iconic style. He first gained recognition in the 2010s through his work with artist A$AP Rocky. His production on tracks like Palace and Levels,
Rose gold slugs, I could afford it, I imported stone cold. Fuck up so stupid on this new ass, fuck up so stupid on this new cash.
Introduced the world to his signature sound. It all starts with his sound palette. Hazy synths, chopped vocals, and hard-hitting drums. So how does Clams Casino create these otherworldly tracks? He often uses samples from unexpected sources, including ambient tracks, pop vocals, or even obscure video game music. But here's the twist. He manipulates them to the point where they are almost unrecognizable. So step one, let's find the sample. There is so many tracks on YouTube, so I would first start here. I searched through ambient playlists and ethereal playlists, and I found this sample which only has 900 views. It gives me such a nostalgic feeling from the jump. The ambient vocals, the synth pads, and melodies create such a unique textural landscape. Mixed in Key Live made sampling this so much easier. After clicking start listening, it began analyzing the track and found the tempo and the key within seconds. This makes it easier down the line to add your own melodies and bass. In his production, he employs heavy reverb and pitch shifting, giving his tracks that ethereal, dreamlike quality. Take I'm a God, for example, one of his most iconic tracks. It uses a heavily chopped and repitched sample of Imogen Heap's Just For Now. He stretches the vocals and layers them with atmospheric pads, creating a haunting yet beautiful landscape. So it was time to chop this sample. I loaded it up in the Ableton sampler, dropped the pitch, and then split the track by transients. Now it's just about listening for the notes to find a cool pattern, where the chord progression makes sense and flows. And adding these effects made it sound so much more dreamy. His beats often juxtapose the beautiful melodies with the hard, punchy, distorted drums. You feel like you're floating and grounded at the same time. He uses mainly real-sounding drums, so I started with this kick and snare from the Auburn drum kit. Make sure to add reverb to all your drums for the spaced-out sound, except the kick, because that will sound like shit. I'd focus on keeping the drums simple and letting the track stay open, so I added this open hat too further on into the verse. Sub basses are signature to his sound, adding that thick low end. So I added this bass yet again from the Auburn drum kit. Finding the root notes was easy, as Mixed in Key Live allowed me to tell what key the sample was in now. During the chorus, to keep the track interesting, I changed the bass sound and bass pattern slightly to give the beat a more anthemic feeling. I tried to further reinforce this live drum sound with this hi-hat loop I made in Addictive Drums. Finally, to complement this new pattern, I re-further chopped the sample we have. I didn't quantize any of these sample chops to give the feeling of the sample being played on an MPC. It now fits the drums better and makes the track more interesting. And during part B of the hook, I added this glitchy pitch down perk for differentiation and ear candy. We know Clams Casino is a huge fan of sampling, but I wanted to take this one step further and make my own sample from scratch, and then resample it, if that makes sense. Today's video is sponsored by Mixed in Key. You'll see in this video I've used Mixed in Key Live a lot. Mixed in Key Live is a key analysis software that can be used in any DAW, on samples or YouTube videos. It gives you the key, BPM, and specific notes of any audio you play on your PC or Mac within seconds. This tool is an absolute must-have must-have for producers or DJs out there. It can allow you in a session to start tracking vocals straight away in the correct key, or from a production standpoint to start adding your own melodies in. Mixed in Key 11 is the world's first and most accurate key finding software for music. Mixed in Key 11 allows you to do the exact same things Mixed in Key Live does, but with tons more features. As mainly a producer, I use it as a place to store all my samples I download. If you hit the key tab, it organizes everything within the same key, making merging samples or matching samples super easy. The links to learn more about Mixed in Key 11 and Mixed in Key Live will be in the description. Thank you again to Mixed in Key for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it. We know ambient pads and lush chords are crucial for his sound, so I layered these pads together which all play 7th chords. To make it sound like a random part of a sample, it was important to add melodies. Mixed in Key Live, yet again, allowed me to see what scale I was working in and add melodies using this plugin. To give the track further depth, I added these textural elements. 2 of these are video game sounding sounds, and this vinyl crackle. Next, we needed one of the most important parts, the vocals. On Splice, I searched for ethereal vocals. I found these 2 I liked and pitched them to the correct key. And I added Little Altar Boy on this vocal to make it sound more female-like, because we're going to end up pitching the track down. This is then what we have. Now it was time to sample this loop. I loaded it into Ableton Sampler, but this time I split it by beat. Experiment with these sample chops just to find out which one works best for your sample. I then found these cool sample chops, and these effects then give it a way more ambient sound like Clams Casino. Again, keeping the drums simple, I started with this kick and layered these 2 snares. One gives the tone and the other really gives the punch. I then added this simple hi-hat which mainly sits in the background, which I shifted off the grid to give it that real authentic sound, alongside this open hat. And this last open hat, which hits at the end of every 8 bars, just adds another cool texture to this beat. And next we needed that low end through this hard sub bass. For the verse, I opted for a shorter pattern so I could give the chorus a more full feeling when that time came around. Again, the root notes were super easy to find after using Mixed in Key Live. During the hook, this longer, new distorted sub bass is used. This hi-hat pattern I then made in addictive drums, just to give the chorus a feeling of progressing. I then re-chopped the verse sample in order to match the triplet sound of the kick and the new hi-hat pattern. And I love how this section comes together. One of the most fascinating parts of Clams Casino's production is its emotional depth. His beats evoke a sense of introspection and nostalgia. They don't just accompany the lyrics, they tell their own story. His work reminds us that in the world of music, sometimes less is more, and simplicity, when done right, can be breathtaking. So the key themes in Clams Casino's beats are finding or making an ambient or ethereal sample and chopping it into cool rhythmic patterns, followed by reverb and pitch shifting. His drums are often organized organic sounding, very hard and distorted, and often feature reverb just to sit nicely with the sample. He often uses sub basses that are hard, distorted, and follow the root notes of the sample. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.